Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving straight into something really fundamental, the mind-body connection.
Yeah, it's a classic topic, right? People have talked about it for centuries.
Absolutely. But what's interesting now, what the science is showing, is just how, well, deep that connection really is in our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. It's moving beyond just, philosophy. We're seeing real evidence for how your thoughts, your feelings, they're tangled up with your physical health.
And vice versa. It's definitely a two-way street.
Totally. Constantly influencing each other.
Okay, so let's maybe unpack that a little. Think about, like, when you're really stressed,
Mm-hmm.
do you notice your shoulders creeping up towards your ears? Or maybe you find yourself clenching your jaw.
Oh, definitely. That physical tension is a classic sign.
Right, so that's your mental state, stress showing up physically.
And then flip it, like you said. If you're feeling unwell, maybe got the flu or just exhausted,
Yeah.
doesn't that drag your mood down,
Yeah.
affect your thinking?
Oh, completely. Brain fog is real when you're sick. So yeah, the sources really hammer home that reciprocal link.
And that brings us to the whole idea of psychosomatic effects. It's a bit of a buzzword sometimes, but it's important.
He means the mind affecting the body, essentially.
Yeah, but in really tangible ways. Some of the studies we looked at show how your mental state can directly influence, say, your immune system.
Really? How so?
Well, chronic stress, for instance, seems to be linked to a weaker immune response.
Mm.
Makes you more likely to catch that cold going around.
Okay, wow. And it also affects how we feel pain, right?
That too. Your perception of pain isn't just about the physical stimulus. Your headspace plays a huge role.
That makes sense. I mean, think about getting a headache after a really rough day at work.
Exactly. Or maybe an upset stomach when you're dealing with something difficult.
Yeah, that happens. It feels incredibly physical, but the trigger, it's often mental or emotional, isn't it?
It really is. And it makes you wonder, what other subtle signals are going back and forth all the time?
And sometimes these things aren't just fleeting, right? The sources mention how chronic stress or anxiety can sort of get stuck.
Yeah, stuck is a good way to put it. It can manifest as ongoing physical stuff,
Mhm.
like persistent back pain or that constant tension in your neck and shoulders.
Even if you're not consciously connecting it to how you're feeling emotionally.
Right. It's like the body is holding on to it, expressing something the mind hasn't fully processed or released.
Like the body's trying to tell you something.
Kind of, yeah. Its own language.
But the good news is, and some of the more practical guides touched on this, there are simple ways to start addressing this, even just breathing.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But taking a few slow, deep breaths can genuinely activate your parasympathetic nervous system.
The rest and digest system.
Exactly. It helps counteract that stress response, release some of that physical tightness. Have you tried it? Notice that effect?
I have, actually. It does help center things. But it raises a point. Why do we often overlook these basic things?
That's a great question. Maybe we think we need complex solutions. But these fundamentals are powerful.
So you don't need to be like a meditation guru.
Not at all. Just checking in with your body for a moment, noticing where you feel tight,
Yeah.
doing a gentle stretch.
Or just focusing on your breath for like a minute.
Yeah, exactly. One source called it a mini reset for your nervous system. Just a quick pause in your day.
It's about building that awareness then, recognizing the signals your body is sending before they become overwhelming.
Precisely. And it doesn't need to be a massive commitment. Little moments add up.
Okay, what about movement? Exercise always comes up in these discussions.
Oh, hugely important. Physical activity is a powerhouse for both mind and body. Think about how you feel after a good walk or workout.
Yeah, there's often a sense of release, right? Like you've shaken off some stress.
Definitely. And there's science behind that. Exercise releases neurochemicals, endorphins are the famous ones.
The natural mood boosters.
Yep. But also things that help regulate pain and improve your outlook.
And it helps manage stress hormones too, doesn't it? Like cortisol.
It does. You get that initial cortisol release during exercise,
Mm-hmm.
but afterwards the levels tend to drop. It promotes a feeling of calm.
So a physical process with a clear mental benefit. That two-way street again.
Always back to that. And sleep. We have to talk about sleep.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Lack of sleep messes everything up.
It really does. Your mind feels foggy. It's harder to manage emotions.
Yeah, you get irritable.
Uh-huh. And your body's repair processes suffer. Your immune system takes a hit. It's hard to maintain mental well-being if you're physically depleted from lack of sleep.
Definitely. I know even one bad night makes me feel off, affects my focus, my energy. everything. I'm sure listeners can relate.
It just creates this huge hurdle for your mind to overcome.
So the body's state really dictates a lot about the mind's potential.
And this is where something like mindfulness can bridge the gap, even if sleep wasn't great.
How so?
Well, taking even just a few minutes for, say, a mindful breathing exercise or a quick body scan, it can help ground you.
Like that mini reset idea again.
Exactly. It helps regulate your emotional response, brings a bit more clarity, makes you less reactive, even when you're feeling physically subpar.
It's interesting how much power the mind seems to have, even over physical sensations. What about things like positive thinking or visualization influencing healing? The sources mention that too.
Yeah, it's fascinating territory. There are studies looking at meditation, affirmations, visualization,
Yeah.
and finding they can play a role in things like pain reduction or even recovery speed.
It sounds almost like magic, but it fits this interconnected model.
And related to that is the placebo effect, which is just undeniable proof of the mind's power.
Right, where belief in a treatment causes real physical change, even if the treatment itself is inert.
Precisely. Your expectations, your beliefs, they can directly shape your physical health outcomes. It really makes you think about the potential locked within our own mind.
It really does. It suggests we have more agency than we might realize, not just in reacting to problems, but in proactively building resilience.
Cultivating that mental resilience, that positive mindset, it strengthens your capacity to handle challenges, both mental and physical. Some sources link that growth mindset to better stress management and health.
Okay, so pulling this all together, for anyone listening who feels maybe a bit disconnected or overwhelmed.
The key takeaway is mind and body aren't separate. They're a team, constantly talking.
And the good news is you can nurture that relationship. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Absolutely. Think baby steps, small, consistent actions.
Like what? Moving a bit more each day.
Yeah, or maybe trying to eat a few more nutritious things. Or
Right.
adding just 5 minutes of mindfulness.
Prioritizing sleep, even just aiming for an extra half hour.
Exactly. These small shifts compound over time. It's about finding a balance that works for you.
And being kind to yourself in the process, right? It's not about perfection.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
This isn't about optimizing yourself into a robot. It's about understanding yourself better.
Listening to your body, listening to your mind with kindness.
Progress, not perfection. That's the mantra.
So it's really a journey of self-awareness, isn't it?
A continuous one. Learning, adjusting, being present.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day, just notice that connection. Where do you feel stress physically? What helps you feel more centered?
And what's one small step you could take, maybe even today, to foster that link between your mind and body?
Because if they really are this intertwined, just think about the possibilities for your well-being when you start to intentionally nurture that relationship. It's a personal exploration.
Deeply personal and potentially transformative.